couple of other things that happened along the way. My wings were restricted. My angel wings, I come from the angel realm, they were bound and restricted, and they had a Metatron's cube, his seal was on them. And once that seal was removed, like, my wings came out. But what happens is when one of those very high up false light gods creates an opening in you, these other entities come in and try to shove as many things into that so that they have hooks into you as they can. And so when that got broken and my wings got out, all of these other entities, all of their contracts, all of their hooks, all of that had to be cleared and had to come out. And, you know, those things are significant milestones. And now sometimes I will walk around and I will just go, and I will feel my wings come out. And my wings were little, and now they're getting bigger, and they're getting bigger. And that's what happens to you, right? So, you know, it does take a warrior spirit to do this. But this short amount of time to clear all of that out versus, like, if you work only in the angel realm, and I will tell you that, you know, I struggled so hard to be working with Underworld guides because I liked being high up into the angel realm. However, these Underworld guides are, one, so benevolent and fierce, and they really will come in and help you, but they also help you in the physical. Like, I have one that came in that would help me with integrity. And if I was working on writing something, if one word wasn't right, I would hear, like, authenticity or integrity, whichever vibration, it was off. Because, you know, we use words like, let's say you could say someone is jealous of you, and that is not the right vibration. They are actually feeling some insecurity about themselves. So there's that difference, right, in the authenticity of what's really happening. And so these Underworld guides will, you know, they're very practical for how they help you go through things in this life, keeping you very grounded. Because if you stay tethered and grounded, it also makes it harder for these entities to come into you. You start flying up high, they try to find ways to do that. But the divine, you know, the divine guides, the angel realm, they will send light that helps you. But it takes longer. It's like it lessens it, softens it until, you know, something happens and it can go and dissolve. So there is a huge benefit to working with Underworld guides to clear. And so I would say that if you start to feel that call inside yourself, like, you will feel vibrations so clear about things. I was taking thyroid medicine, and I went to one plant medicine ceremony, and I had this huge throat chakra activation. And when I got back, I went one morning and I reached over, like just 2 days after the ceremony, I reached over to take my thyroid medicine, and I felt my whole body went, no. They didn't want me to take it anymore because, you know, the thyroid is here, right? And so many of us that have this thyroid issue, it's because we lost our voice. And so when your voice returns to you, these things happen to you. You actually start to heal things inside you. And by the way, just to circle back to my very, very first story and the very first video about running to play kickball and felt these chains around me. There was one session early on with my instructor where she asked me, she goes, you have these chains around your hips. And that's when I hadn't thought about that kickball game in years. That came to mind. And when she took it off, like immediately, these hip issues, some of these hip issues I had had, they just dissolved. So there are, every element that you have in your body is a vibration. And as you clear things and you remove that vibration, you allow space for your body to heal. And I will also say that when you have to deal with something, as you clear, like, why clear this stuff? When you get these loops and these contracts out, it doesn't mean you don't have to deal with something that happened, but you deal with it, you heal it, you integrate it, and you don't have to deal with it again. It's not like that universe saying of, oh, we're going to test you 3 times and then one more time just to make sure. No. You deal with it, you integrate it, and you're done, and you keep moving forward. And, you know, that's how you start to feel really connected. You start to feel connected to the planet more, to the universe more, to yourself more, to others more. And this is where you realize, I am a part of everything. And it's that clarity, it's that crystal precision that comes in that is so valuable. But the biggest thing for me is the authenticity that has come in being able to feel vibrations out on what's authentic and what's not within myself and within others. You know, sometimes I'll go to say something, and if something doesn't feel authentic, I feel it all the way down. I will create a video and delete it and re-record it because one word doesn't resonate correct for me. And that is staying in my authenticity. Now, if somebody else is speaking, this starts that part of you listen to your own higher self, because you are meant to get your information and listen to your higher self for your truth. The rest of us, other people, are here to help us in different ways, but they're not here to tell us what to do, what to think, who's right, who's wrong. The only person that can answer that for you is you. And there's no right or wrong, there's just learning. So as you go through this, your vibration picks up on what's false and what's not false. There were people that I could listen to that were big in the spiritual community, that all of a sudden they would start to talk, and I would start to feel like this really feeling in my stomach, and I had to immediately go turn them off. And that's when I knew that they had false light in them. And that's a huge issue with the spiritual community. The people that do not clear out their contracts. And you may say, I'm going to protect myself. You can put protection up around yourself, and you absolutely should. But it can only protect you against something that's not already inside. If you already have a contract, it cannot stop whoever has access to that contract from coming in. And so the false light is being utilized at great lengths through a lot of these spiritual, well, let's just say spiritual leaders, to help infiltrate others into the false light. And you won't even realize that that's part of what's happening to you until you clear out your contracts. And then when somebody else speaks to you, something in that, because you no longer resonate with inauthenticity, something in that will just go, oh, this doesn't make me feel good. And that's how it tells you it's a false vibration. And that's different than, I'm not interested in that. I don't think that's for me. That's a total different layer to the vibration than being able to hear someone speak and know that what they're saying is not accurate. There was a woman that would just randomly do these amazing oracle readings. And, you know, I would listen to her on occasion because she would just like go into these deep things, and it just, for like 3 years, it felt really, it inspired me to listen to what she was talking about. And then I hadn't watched her, and this whole time I'm doing this clearing of contracts. And then I randomly see her pop back up, and I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to her in forever. The minute I put her back on, I literally heard out loud, turn it off. It's all fake. Everything she's saying is fake. And I could feel it in my bones, in the vibration of her voice. Now, if you want to talk about power, that's your power. You have to be able to know what's real for you. And in order to do that, you have to do the work. So one last piece that I forgot to mention to close out this circle about Grandmother Mantis. When I said I had to work through a lot of fear, every night when I went to bed, as I cleared myself more and more, I could feel when entities or beings came in. These were not all negative beings that came into where I was, into my physical space. Every night, after like the 9-month mark of clearing things out, I would feel them come in. I'd feel my bed go down, like somebody sat on it. And I knew I was having some divine guides come in to watch me. I have at times orbs. I've moved my covers and seen an orb just laying there. And initially, when I would see this, I was still getting some fear thoughts, even though I cleared so much, because it's like, who is this? Is this good or is this bad? And, you know, there's still the regulating of the nervous system that has to happen, and the trusting of yourself in what this is. Because my initial reaction, because I was tortured so badly, my initial reaction is to go right up into like a fear. I don't want to say fear, but to go into this like battle mode of who is this? And once the simulations came out, like I would hear thuds on the window, and these, I would watch orbs come in. And the thuds that hit the window are different than a bug hitting them. It almost sounds like the glass could break, but it doesn't. And I could hear it. I would go to sleep at night and I hear it come in, and then I would hear it hit a mirror to leave. And so, you know, mirrors are portals, and you always put protection over these portals. And I might do a different video about the protection that I put all over. But as I started to get through this, I started to, you know, I had to release the fear that of these benevolent beings, because of everything that happened with the negative beings. Like, who are you? Are you good or are you bad? And that's been one of the harder things to work through. But when I reached that certain point of clearing, all of these thuds that were coming in all of the time, it's like they just got less and less and less. And, you know, now I know, I literally see my animal guides. I have a couple of them that come in every time. Sometimes they switch out, but I have like this big ass gorilla that comes and sits on my bed. And lately, for the last 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, I have this rhinoceros that comes in very benevolent energies that are coming there, that are just like, I know they're like helping me to regulate my nervous system, because I've not forgotten that I have to go back to Grandmother Mantis, and I have to be fear-free. And I'm like, there's this one little seed left that I've got to pluck out. And that's part of what I'm doing and working through. at this point. And so, you know, I would say to have compassion for yourself while you're on this journey. Love yourself. Hug yourself. If you need to hug yourself, you hug yourself. Give yourself compassion. Give yourself love. Give yourself grace. Because it's in learning to do that for yourself that then it transmutes out that vibration out to the collective. And then you can start to give it to other people. But, you know, it's a process. So I just wanted to cover this one last piece to bring it all back around for Grandmother Mantis. I feel like I'm just about ready to go back to see her. But when she said, don't come back until your fear is gone, I am going to make sure that it is completely gone. And then I will go see what she has in store to teach me next.